Hare Krishna Prabhu.
हरे जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनच्छलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी शुभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामी इति नामिने। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिने इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषं मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं कारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। हरि ओम तत्सत्। हरे कृष्णा। So very happy to connect back again. Please forgive slightly erratic schedule. It's a bit unpredictable sometimes, and when you are not in your regular schedule, you don't know what to expect, and that's why I have to sometimes adjust. I was hoping to move the class from Saturday to Sunday, but good I didn't because I was busy on Sunday evening as well. So anyway, so hope you'll excuse me for some time. I'll be back in a couple of 3 weeks, and hopefully we should be a bit more regular in our schedule again. So thank you for your tolerance, and thank you for your eagerness to continue to hear the nectar of Lord Chaitanya's very sweet pastimes, and of course the Srimad Bhagavad. We are continuing our discussion on Lord Chaitanya's Prayag trip. A brief recap: we discussed how Lord Chaitanya first went to Vrindavan, of course, through various intermediate locations which we have already discussed, and then after Vrindavan, he moved from Vrindavan towards Prayag. Now, as he was doing this, in parallel, background context, Rupa and Sanatan, how they were after their meeting with Lord Chaitanya and Ramkeli, how they were hankering to give up the top jobs in the world, huh? With so much wealth, so much power, so much control, to become mendicants and surrender themselves to Lord Chaitanya. So this is the quality, and we discussed briefly last time also that this kind of uh, discussion with material enjoyment uh, is the stepping stone to genuine spiritual experience. Correct. Usually, what we do is we have one step in spiritual life, one step in material life. We just want to make sure, that whenever I want, I can tilt this side whenever, and that's okay initially. I'm not saying that we can suddenly jump to the other side. That's okay initially because initially we have not purified ourselves to that extent, and that kind of a hesitation and that kind of sometimes leaning this side, then sometimes leaning that side, is natural and expected. But those who are thoroughly materially exhausted. Janmaishwarya Shutashri Edamanam Madappuman Naiva Arhati Abhidatum Twam Akinchana. Those who are no longer seeking for happiness in wealth, beauty, success, fame, and basically they have come to the conclusion that this path doesn't lead to any lasting auspiciousness. This path is the path of entrapment, which drags me into suffering. Huh? Correct. Just like a fish who's put a bait. The fish thinks, I got a free meal. I didn't have to go hunting. I got a free meal. But as they say, there's no free lunch. Somebody has kept that for you, thinking it's a free meal, but all they want is to catch you. So Maya is like that. So anyway, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanaman Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvam Iti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. That person is genuinely a Mahatma because he is able to properly take shelter of the Supreme Personality of. So Rupa and Sanatan are showing that kind of a behavior and they are so eager. And Rup with his younger brother Anupam, who's also known as Sri Vallabh, they are very keen and they somehow manage to move away from the government employment. It's not clear whether Anupam was engaged in government employment or not, or at least I'm not aware. But Rup Goswami was definitely a minister in the Nawab's government. He managed to go and they find out through certain two men whom they sent to Jagannath Puri that Lord Chaitanya is already in, departed from Puri towards Vrindavan. So they are headed towards Braj. And they reach Prayag. And they have already written to Sanatan Goswami, we have left 10,000 gold coins with a grocer. You know, the Nawab has arrested you. So please figure out a way. Please come and join us in Vrindavan. Let us all together take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Meanwhile, it so happened that when Rup and Sanatan reach, Rup and Anupam reach Prayag, Lord Chaitanya is already there. And they are like, wow, I mean, I was thinking I have a distance to go and, it's like you are going towards God and you realize that God came, already, 10 steps towards you. It happens like that, right? Suddenly, I was just narrating. I mean, sorry, I just remembered something. Slight deviation. But I was just sharing on the WhatsApp group how I was in Nasik thinking, I want to be at Prayag Tirtha and want to take bath there. How, and I was discussing with Amito, can we do in Godavari? Is it same as Prayag? And this I was analyzing. And anyway, it just happened within 2 hours of that, I was at Prayag, of that discussion. I had no idea Prayag Tirtha was there. Even when I went to that place, even when we decided to go to that place, we didn't know there is Prayag. Nor had we planned that trip at that point in time. So, of course, I'm not saying in any way glorifying myself. I'm just saying that when we have a sincere desire, uh, I just consider that the Tirtha said, okay, you are keen. My qualification that I was sincere and keen. So the Tirtha said, I'm here. You don't have to go all the way to, Triveni. As the Prayagraj has appeared here as Ramchandra. So come. So we, got that blessing there. And then now I brought some water from the every day I'm taking bath, meditating that I'm in Triveni. So, so when we are eager, sometimes things are beyond our capability to achieve. But like Prabhupada would often say, we take one step towards God, God takes 100 steps towards us. So what is really important is our sincere desire and our endeavor. And wherever we fall short, God compensates. If we are sincere, we cannot be lazy. Oh, I want to go. When God will wish, I will go. When we have that kind of a mentality, then God will say, okay, I also will wait. Then you will really want to come. So Rupa and Sanatan were so eager that the Lord didn't even wait for them in Vrindavan. He said, I'll come and meet you midway in Prayag. So the Lord Chaitanya was already in Prayag. And when Rupa and Anupam Malik, when they reached Prayag, they were so happy that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. We also briefly discussed how Lord Chaitanya went and took darshan in the Bindu Madhav temple. So at Prayag, there's a very, very famous temple of Lord Hari, Narayan, four-armed form of Lord Vishnu known as Bindu Madhav. Now, Bindu means a drop. So apparently, there may be many pastimes related, but one of the key understandings of the temple is In this place of Triveni, every bindu, every drop of water of Ganga is non-different from the Supreme Lord. So Shastras say that in Kali Yuga, Hari is present in various forms. Apart from the Srimad Bhagavat, which we know, apart from his deity form, which we know, in the form of Ganges, Ganga Devi, and in the form of Tulasi also. So Ganga is very, very sacred, very special. So we should not, if we approach Tirtha with the right consciousness, then only we'll get the right benefit of the Tirtha. One of the things that is said, and just a side comment, again, I'm going to the Prayag story because, that is a very recent experience. The Shastras say oftentimes Tirthas also, they appear dirty and unclean. And especially in Kali Yuga. And the purpose why they appear like that is because they do not want sinful people to get free benefit of cleansing their sins unless they have strong faith and devotion. So when we went this Prayag place, there's a big kund where everybody was going, but there's a small kund of Prayag which was fenced and locked. They were not allowing anybody to go. Nobody could go into Prayag. So we spoke to the pujari there, and somehow he said, "Oh, you are Hare Krishna." And he was somehow very, he probably saw us discussing. We discussed Bhagavatam near the kund, and saw us offering prayers, and he became very happy. He said, "Yes, yes, you can go." And he brought a container for us to take the tirtha from the water. And I literally climbed over the railing and went in. So we went in, gathered, and the water was, externally covered with insects and various things. So I was just thinking, because I remember recollecting this verse, that tirthas are often hidden like this. Hidden in the sense, sometimes, individuals will go to the bank of the Yamuna and Ganga and say, "No, it's so dirty, I don't want to bathe." Of course, as we still have to be intelligent that we do not fall sick by being indiscriminate, because the tirtha will have the water may genuinely have pollutants which may affect our health, but still one must approach the tirtha with the understanding of its spiritual potency. When we do like that, we'll get proper uh, benefit. So every drop of water of the Ganges, Bindu Madhav, the Lord is present. And the potency that the Tirtha will have in terms of purifying us depends on this attitude. It depends on this attitude. So what benefit we get? We get based on whether we see this as a contaminated water, which I, better stay away from. Who knows what this is? Who made so? This will be the, kind of thinking often. To the thinking that this is, this Tirtha has appeared here to purify. So that is, a very, very important point. So Bindu Madhav, sacred, every drop of this Ganga at the Triveni Sangam, or for that matter anywhere, is non-different from the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya was so excited. Lord Chaitanya was always attracted, of course, to Ganga because he appeared on the bank of the Ganga. Ganga is his emanating from his lotus feet. And also Yamuna, because Yamuna is where Krishna performed his pastime. And this is Sangam, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. And when Lord Chaitanya took darshan at Bindu Madhav, hundreds and thousands of people followed him and they were wanted to meet him. And this wasn't unusual. This is what was happening always as Lord Chaitanya would, uh, visit places. He had such an irresistible devotional charm that he was like, transformation energy for pure devotion moving around. Anybody who would come in under his influence in any way, even just by seeing him, would be transformed. That was his power. People were seeing him, following him, crying simply by looking at him, dancing and chanting. Some of them were rolling on the ground saying Krishna, Krishna without even his preaching, simply by seeing. So it is said, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati converge at Triveni at Prayag. Even after that, Prayag doesn't overflood. But by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's coming, it overflooded. Overflooded what? Not from a water perspective, but overflooded with the love of ecstatic love for Krishna. Very nice example he gives. So Rupa and Sanatan reach there, and they reach as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is coming out from Bindu Madhav temple, and all these people are rolling and falling, and And they have already met Lord Chaitanya just some time ago. But they are standing at a distance. They don't come in front of Lord Chaitanya. Hari bol, we are here. We renounced. You know, yes. Finally, we have come. Sometimes we become, proud of our renunciation also. So, uh, so sometimes I like to mention that even when we share stories about how the Lord is merciful to us, so like sometimes I share my personal, stories. I don't, I'm not sharing with a sense of, oh, look how special I am. That is not the idea. The idea is that uh, the Lord, the Tirthas, the great devotees are so merciful if we approach them in the right way. Huh? Even though we are not qualified, even though we may not be great, even though we may be ordinary and simple. Huh? Because if Krishna sees sincerity in our heart, sincerity means we really want what we are saying. And we have faith in the holy name, faith in the dham, faith in the tirthas, faith in the deity of the Lord, faith in the power of the Vaishnavas. Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave. Svalpa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwaso Naivajaya. Mahabharata glorifies that if somebody is fortunate to have faith in Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, and all these uh, Nama, the holy name, Brahmani, Vaishnave, that is not uh, a small gift. It's a wonderful thing. So when we approach with faith and sincerity, then the tirthas are very kind, the devotees are very kind. So oftentimes, we put the blame on the Lord or the tirthas and other things. The problem is not with them. They are ever willing to give, but we are not opening our heart. Our heart opens to receive their mercy when we approach them with faith, with sincerity, and with a humble, please give me. So that is the important point. So whenever, I receive a special blessing, which I see as special, special in the sense, special because I feel, oh, I didn't deserve this. But the Lord or the Tirtha or the Vaishnava went above and beyond, you know, what I am qualified for or what I deserve. Huh? Just because they saw somewhere a small, sincerity of intention, huh? And some faith. So that is a very important criteria because we are still in neophyte stages. Uh, Most of us are not very advanced. At least I am not. So, but the kindness is of the Lord is of the holy personalities is that we take one step, they take 10. And this continues across our journey. This continues all the way into the spiritual world. So that is the most important. We should never be despondent that how can I attain the mercy of the Lord because I am unqualified. Yes, we are unqualified. But we are not going to the Lord to show our qualification. Oh Bhagwan ji, मैं ये देखो मेरा CV ये देखा मैंने ये किया done this. No, give mercy. We are not going to the Lord, no matter who we are, because no matter how big we are small only. Yeah? We are not going and showing our CV to the Lord. Yeah? You see the prayers of all the greatest of devotees, they are going with, I am nothing, I am very insignificant. But I sincerely want, and I am begging, please grant me this. And with that disposition, the Lord overlooks all our disqualification. He overlooks all our. That's the amazing thing about the Lord. We don't have to go and impress God. Sometimes people have a wrong approach. You want to impress God. See? No, you can't impress God. All the capabilities you have, God has only given you. What are you going to impress Him? You have some original capability. The bird can fly by. He designed his wings and what he did. No, he was born. He has been invested with the power. Those who have medha, intelligence, those who have ability to speak, to remember, to articulate, to philosophize, where are all these abilities coming from? So we cannot impress God either with abilities or with results, because results are also given by Krishna. abilities are also given back. So what is your contribution? Our contribution is our sincerity of purpose. That I really want to serve and please Krishna, and our faith. Huh? So with the sincerity of purpose to serve and with faith in the process and the Lord and all aspects connected with devotional service, Nama Brahmani Vaishnavi, then the mercy will flow. So credit to us comes because of that. Whether we are Hanuman or squirrel, doesn't matter. So most of us are squirrels of various sizes. But the Lord says, oh, you are at squirrel level, you are doing well. Hanuman, your level, you are doing well. So that's okay. Because Hanuman's power also comes from Ram, and squirrel's ability to lift a nut also comes from Ram. There isn't really. So why I'm mentioning all this is, one is the aspect that, we are not trying to glorify ourselves when we share that, as long as we are clear that, that is not our motivation. Because when I share as a happiness, as a happy heart of gratitude. You understand? Happy heart of gratitude. Oh, yes. Oh, the Lord is so kind. It's an excitement of happiness that I have hope. That we have hope that the Lord is so kind that if we simply remain humble and sincere, uh, even though we are so disqualified, lot of hope is there. uh, because the Lord will come. Tesham aham samuddarta mrityu samsara vartmani bhavani na achirat partha maya veshita chetasam. So that is great hope. So I'm saying more from that perspective. Because sometimes, sometimes the audience may feel that, oh, oh, this person is, glorifying himself or sharing that, so uh, we can always share with pride, we can always share with gratitude. So our approach should be to always share with gratitude that we received very special blessings which we were not qualified for. So Rupa and Sanatan had that kind of sentiment. Of course, sorry, not in this case. Of course, Rupa Sanatan both had, but in this case, Rupa and Anupam, that sentiment. Huh? They didn't feel they were standing at a distance. But Chaitanya is, ecstatically chanting. All devotees are, all these people are dancing and falling and rolling. But Rupa and Sanatan are standing at a far distance, thinking themselves very, very unqualified. Normally, a big government minister, what they'll expect, they have big, entourage, they'll expect immediate attention. Oh, I have come. They were so, so, so humble. They were genuinely feeling so insignificant and dependent on Lord Chaitanya's mercy. And this is the lesson here. Huh? They stood far away, almost, that easily Lord Chaitanya would not notice. Because they are feeling so shy to come in front of Lord Chaitanya. We have been serving this Muslim king for so long, and this, we are not qualified. Even though they had such sincerity, such detachment, such devotion, far away. And they were watching Lord Chaitanya as he was near the Bindu Madhav temple. And everyone was dancing. Lord's hands were raised. He was chanting Hari Hari. You know, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, oh, this scene was so wonderful and beautiful. I cannot fully describe what all was happening. So they continued to stand there. And at that time, one Deccan Brahmin, whom Lord had met some time earlier, he came to Lord Chaitanya and he said, oh Lord, please come to my home and have lunch prasad. So Lord Chaitanya said, okay, he said. At that time, Lord went and sat in a solitary place. So at that time, the crowd was not there. And this was solitary place in the home of this Deccan Brahmin. Deccan means a South Indian Brahmin, the Deccan area. So at that time, Rupa and Sanatan came and stood at a distance outside that solitary place. And they came to meet him. But they didn't directly approach Lord Chaitanya. They were so hesitant. I am so unqualified. They were standing at a distance. And from a distance, putting clumps of straw, straw means hay, dry grass, in their mouth, between their teeth, like this. Dante Trinadhari. To hold straw in the mouth is a symbol of surrender and meekness. Putting straw in their teeth, they were repeatedly offering their obeisances, like full dandavats to Lord Chaitanya from a distance. Both the brothers were feeling so overwhelmed with ecstatic emotions, seeing Lord Chaitanya from a distance. Again and again, they would offer obeisances, they would get up and they would be so overwhelmed. Again, they would offer, but they were not approaching Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya saw them from a distance. So happy to see Rupa and Anupam. And he told, stand up, stand up. Rupa, my dear Rupa, come here, come here. Lord Chaitanya called them. And Lord Chaitanya, as they came closer, Lord Chaitanya told Rupa, oh, Krishna has bestowed his very, very special mercy on both of you. Huh? Correct? If you remember, when they met in Ramkeli, Lord Chaitanya told them, wait for the right time. Krishna will deliver you from the entanglement of your material life. And he said, now Krishna has given his special mercy and delivered you from the well of material enjoyment. And then Lord Chaitanya says a very beautiful verse where he quotes Lord Krishna from the Srimad Bhagavat. And he says that a position of a devotee is the highest, like you are a devotee. A person may be a very learned scholar. I have studied all the Vedic literatures. If he's not my devotee, I am not impressed. But if a person is a devotee, even though he may be born in a Chandala family, he is very, very dear to me. If he is free from the desires for material enjoyment and he is free from the desire for merging into the impersonal Brahman, and if he is just interested in serving me with love, such a person is always far superior and all respect should be given to him. Why the Lord is saying this? Because the Lord sees the meekness and humility in the hearts of Rupa and Anupama and is telling them, oh, you are thinking you are fallen because you served Yavanas. You lost your caste. You were born as Saraswat Brahmins, but you served under Muslims, so you are considered outcast. You were called, Dabir Khas and, Anupam Malik. But I am not, for me, I am seeing your heart full of love and devotion. You are greater than the most learned Brahmanas and Pandits. All respect should be given. Krishna has said that in the Bhagavad. And indeed, such kind of devotees who have that kind of a pure love for me, Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad, Lord Chaitanya is quoting, should be given not only all respect, but whatever he offers should be accepted. And such devotees of mine, Krishna says, are as worshipable as I am. This is how much Krishna values his pure devotees. So after he recites these verses, which kind of, is to encourage Rupa and Anupam to, not feel bad about, the circumstances that they have been under. Lord Chaitanya called them close. And he, personally put his lotus feet on their head. Rebo. And both the brothers folded hands, great humility. They started offering prayers to Lord Chaitanya. They started glorifying Lord Chaitanya. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishya. You are the most munificent Lord. You are Krishna himself who has appeared in this world to deliver. You have assumed a golden complexion because you have taken the mood of Srimati Radharani and you are widely distributing Krishna Prem to everyone. We are just seeing now how this is going on. So immediately they approached Lord Chaitanya not just as a guru, not just as a saint, but understanding his true position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they glorified Lord Chaitanya like this, saying a few more verses, very, very beautiful verses, praising how the Lord is delivering the conditioned souls who are entrapped in this material world by distributing the nectar of the treasure house of Krishna Prema. And that Lord Chaitanya, we take his full shelter. So we are surrendering to you. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, come, sit next to me. Sit next to me. And the first thing Lord Chaitanya asked them was, who is Sanatan? What is happening with Sanatan? What is the news? Because he's happy Rupa and Anupama have come, but what is about Sanatan? So Rupa Goswami said that Sanatan has been arrested by the government of, Hussain Shah. Please, You have to save him, my dear Lord. If you save him, he can also be liberated from material entanglement, like how we have been liberated. Lord Chaitanya, kind of smiled, because even though Lord Chaitanya was asking this question, Lord Chaitanya knew the answer. Huh? Lord Chaitanya revealed to Rup and Anupam. He said, actually, Sanatan has already been liberated from his prison. Because by that time, and the story we'll discuss later, Sanatan had already managed, and that story we'll discuss in a little bit more detail later, but he had already managed to escape from prison. And he said, very soon, he will also join us. Huh? And, your heart's innermost desire will be fulfilled. And Rupa and Anupam, of course, were very, very happy to hear this wonderful news. Meanwhile, as this beautiful conversation was going on, this Deccan Brahman, he told Lord Chaitanya, because he was already in his home, oh Lord, please allow me to serve you lunch. So it is said that day, Rupa and Anupam remained at the house of the Deccan Brahmin. Uh, Balabhadra Bhattacharya, who was the assistant of Lord Chaitanya, he told Rupa and Anupam, please, you also have lunch here only. And after Lord Chaitanya had his prasad, his lunch, the remnants from Lord Chaitanya's plate were also given to Rupa and Anupam. Hmm. So it is said Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after that particular episode, he decided to stay for some days in Prayag, at the very close to the Triveni, where the Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati meet. And Rupa and Anupam also made their own residence very close to that place. They were staying very close to Lord Chaitanya's, residence place, so that they can regularly get association of Lord Chaitanya. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami describes that at this time, when the Lord was in Prayag, another very beautiful, interesting episode happened. There was one more very great personality. His name was Sri Vallabha Bhatta. So Vallabh Bhatta was staying at a village known as the Adaila Grama. Gram means village. Adaila is the name of the village. Sometimes it's also known as Adeli. That's what Prabhupada says. And that village was very close by across the river. And a very pure-hearted Vaishnava Brahmana devotee. And when he heard Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had arrived, he was so eager to meet him. He came to the place where he was staying and the bank of the near the Triveni Sangam. He came. So just for your information, Prabhupada explains this in the purport. This Sri Vallabha Bhatta is the famous saint of the Pushti Magh, who is known as Vallabhacharya. So we have heard the name of Vallabhacharya, right? The Nathadwara worship and so many other worship, Pushti Marg worshippers. So this personality is the same one. He in time went on to become the Acharya in one of the four sampradayas. This Vallabh Bhatta, he was a family grihastha man. He was not a sannyasi, but a very pure-hearted, very wonderful, great devotee. So he came to meet Lord Chaitanya. So Vallabh Bhatta offered obeisances to Lord Chaitanya. And the Lord was so happy to see him. The Lord, embraced him because the Lord recognized him as a great soul, as a, upcoming Acharya. And as always, when the Lord would be very excited to meet somebody, the Lord wasn't too excited to discuss about material affairs. The Lord's usual question to great devotees when he would meet is, please tell me about Krishna. Please tell me about Krishna. So, it's good when we as devotees meet. Of course, we can have some social interaction also. But the focus of our, exchange, if we want it to be spiritually uplifting, should be on topics of Krishna. So, for some time, they were discussing about Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya, when he would discuss with Krishna, genuinely pure-hearted devotees, he would really be ecstatic. Because the secret of pure devotional service is when pure devotional subject, especially glorification of the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord, comes from the lips of those who have genuine taste and attraction for the Lord. And to hear that katha is so tasty, it becomes greatly pleasing to the heart. We feel very nourished and we feel a sweet mellow taste in hearing Krishna Katha. When it comes from those who have faith and attraction for the Lord. Satam prasanga mamavirya samvido. That's why one should hear in the association of those who have that kind of an attachment. Shraddha rati bhaktir anukramishati. Then our faith develops, our taste develops. Something Lord Chaitanya was, he's a sannyasi, he is the Supreme Lord, but the Lord enjoys. Okay, you tell me about Krishna. And the Lord was so relishing the discussion with Vallabha Bhatta. Vallabha Bhatta is a senior person. He's not a close friend, he's an acquaintance. Chaitanya was feeling so ecstatic as they were discussing about Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya usually would go out of control. But somehow, Lord Chaitanya was trying to, restrain himself to not display the symptoms and, go out of control. And Vallabha Bhatta was noticing that as they are talking about Krishna, he would see ecstatic symptoms manifesting in Lord Chaitanya's body. He was very surprised. He realized that, this person is, not just a sannyasi, must be Krishna. Who can have this kind of an ecstatic love? It is not possible. He was a very learned Vaishnava. Then Vallabha Bhatta approached Lord Chaitanya. He said, Lord, please, my request is, please come for lunch at my home and purify me. And, Lord said, okay. And the Lord said, yeah, did you meet these two wonderful devotees? Vallabha Bhatta, did you meet these two? This is Rup and this is Vallabh. And Rup and Vallabh were standing at a distance. They were staying nearby, right? They were standing at a distance. Vallabh and Lord Chaitanya was, sitting face to face and having this conversation. They said, yes, see those that is Rup and as soon as Lord Chaitanya pointed towards them, Rup and Anupam or Sri Vallabh, they both offered their obeisances from a distance. With great humility, they offered respects to Vallabha Bhatta. Vallabha Bhatta then got up. He walked towards Rupa and Anupam. Because they are at a distance, he wanted to meet them close up front. And as he started approaching, Rup and Anupam feeling so unqualified and humble, they started backing away. Started going behind. And Vallabha Bhatta is wondering, what is this? And they were saying to, Rupa and Anupam were saying, oh, no. Rupa Goswami especially was saying, no, I'm an untouchable. I'm most sinful. Please don't touch me. Don't come near me. And Vallabha Bhatta was very surprised. Lord Chaitanya is glorifying them, introducing them. They must be great devotees, but what kind of humility they have? And Vallabha Bhatta was very surprised. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased. He was watching all this from a distance because the Lord always appreciates genuine humility. The Lord doesn't like devotees when they show off. I'm so great. This and that. That's why devotees, even when they have very intimate spiritual experiences with the Lord, they don't go out advertising, oh, Krishna spoke to me today, and, this happened, and, that happened. Even though you will not hear any devotee speaking like that. Of course, many times, those who speak like that simply imagine. But those who have actually had genuine, deep spiritual experiences, they are not interested in. And Krishna also doesn't appreciate them. Lord Chaitanya was very pleased. There is a beautiful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, not here, but elsewhere. Sri Chaitanya Bhakta Ganer Vairagya Pradhan Tandra Deke Pritihan Gaura Bhagwan. That kind of dispassion and humility that the followers of Lord Chaitanya have. Lord Chaitanya becomes very pleased to see that kind of a dispassion, detachment. Genuine detachment includes genuine humility. Simply being detached at an external level but internally proud and thinking oneself to be God or liberated, it's not something which is pleasing to the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya was kind of smiling and he was pleased, and Vallabha Bhatta is surprised, what is this? I've never seen this kind of a behavior. So Lord Chaitanya starts speaking and describing Rupa Goswami. And he refers to Vallabha Bhatta and says, yeah, don't touch him. He belongs to a very low caste. The Lord is, just you know, speaking this in a, not meaning it, but, he wants to bring out the glory of Bruce Wilson. Well, but you are such a great Brahman, you are such a follower of Vedic principles, and you know so many sacrifices. You are such an aristocratic person. Huh? So when Vallabhatta heard the Lord speaking like this, he was a very intelligent. He knew the devotional conclusions. So he could put two and two together and see that actually Lord Chaitanya is pleased. And then Vallabhatta very nicely, because he could hear continuously Krishna's name coming from the lips of Rupa and Anupama. That is the proof of their genuine advancement. One can pretend humility, but genuine humility in a devotee is manifested in the form of his ability to continuously chant the holy name. Where is this said? Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishruna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. Hari becomes kirtaniya always only when we have this kind of a humility, where a devotee in his heart feels himself humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all expectation of respect and willing to give all honor and respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name always. So, Vallabha Bhatta, understanding the situation, he turns to Lord Chaitanya and says, "Oh, my dear Lord, since these two, this Rupa and this Anupam, they are constantly chanting the holy name, how can they be untouchable? On the contrary, they are most exalted." And then he quoted the verse from the Srimad Bhagavat, because he was very well versed in scripture. He was expert in the Bhagavatam also. Yad jivagre vartate nama tubhyam, that beautiful verse he quotes. And the meaning of that verse is, my dear Lord, the translation, one who always keeps your holy name on his tongue becomes greater than any initiated Brahmana. Although he may be born in a low family, even in a family of dog eaters, by material calculation, huh? He may be considered from a low caste, still he is most glorious. Because a person who chants the holy name of the Lord always must be considered to have already accomplished all study of scriptures, visiting all tirthas, performing all sacrifices, doing all kinds of tapasya. He has bathed everywhere. Prayag, Triveni, all tirthas he has bathed. Why? Because only a person who has achieved the full perfection of all spiritual practices comes to the conclusion Vasudeva Sarvamiti and takes full shelter of chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Such a person is indeed most exalted, and he is actually an Aryan. Lord Chaitanya was so happy. He didn't clap his hands, he was so happy to hear Vallabh explaining in the same understanding that Lord Chaitanya had with respect to who actually is an exalted. Because the Lord Chaitanya, only saw the spiritual quality of the soul. He was not concerned about who's born in what family, what is their material qualification. The Lord started praising Vallabh and he started glorifying him. And the Lord actually quotes, I don't have time, so I'll not go through all the verses, but the Lord starts quoting, various shlokas to further elaborate and support what Vallabh Bhatta said. And essentially, Lord quotes verses which further say that ultimately, devotional service is the real ornament for the soul. All other ornaments are just, this big titles, big study, big, chanting of mantras, expertise in rituals, big austerities. They are just decorations on a dead body, because they are all material things. If they are not meant with the aim of developing loving devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God, by themselves they will not be helpful. So, when the Lord Chaitanya was very blissfully, repeating all these verses, Vallabh Bhatta was also very astonished and very pleased, because the Lord was becoming very ecstatic as he was, saying these beautiful verses. And Vallabh Bhatta was also surprised with the fine, perfect Siddhantic knowledge that Lord Chaitanya displayed in terms of the conclusions, devotional conclusions. So the clarity that Lord Chaitanya had with respect to the devotional conclusions, very few, or practically nobody had that kind of clarity. And that's why Lord Chaitanya was, teaching through these great souls, because he's instructing Vallabha also in one way, because Vallabha he knows is going to be a acharya eventually. Hmm? So he was impressed by the Lord's, uh, perfect exposition of Siddhanta of Bhakti, and he was also so impressed, Vallabha Bhatta, by his personal beauty and influence. So Vallabha Bhatta said, "Oh Lord, please now you come for lunch to my house. My house is in, Adaila. We need to cross the river." And he arranged for a boat. And he and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sat on that boat. And they were crossing the Yamuna. This is a Triveni. So they had to cross the Yamuna to go on the other side to Adaila Gram. And Lord Chaitanya, as always, Lord Chaitanya is very unpredictable, because, he has this uh, Uddipana, a sudden emergence of ecstatic symptoms when he Uddipana, sorry, when he sees these transcendental places, and especially Yamuna, Govardhan, or even those things which remind him of Yamuna, Govardhan. Here he's crossing the Yamuna when he saw the black, dark, glossy waters of Yamuna. So looks like Yamuna was colored. The dark color water was there that time, not because of contamination, but that's the natural color of Yamuna water. Huh? Of course, nowadays it may be more black because of pollutants, but that's how. And he saw the glossy black water of Yamuna, so overwhelmed. He's actually on Yamuna. Lord Chaitanya was so maddened with ecstatic love. They are going to his house for lunch. Lord Chaitanya totally went, ecstatic, and without any hesitation, he jumped into the Yamuna off the boat. Everybody like shocked. We were on our way to lunch, and Lord Chaitanya suddenly saw Yamuna, and he got ecstatic, and he jumped into the water. Filled with fear. They were all trembling. Some of them jumped into the water, and because there were some assistants and others, they jumped. They told Lord Chaitanya, somehow brought Lord Chaitanya back onto the boat. Lord Chaitanya couldn't be controlled. He stood up on the boat and started jumping and dancing in ecstasy of Krishna Prem. And imagine, this wasn't a huge boat, but a simple boat to cross the river, and the boat was shaking and water was coming into the boat, and devotees began fearing that the boat is now about to sink. Lord Chaitanya was trying to control himself, but he was, Vallabha Bhatta was there, especially because Vallabha Bhatta was there, he was trying to control, and he was trying to keep calm, but he was struggling, that kind of ecstasy here. But finally, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, seeing the situation and seeing the dangerous situation that, or sinking of boat that was creating, Lord Chaitanya somehow checked himself, huh, and settled down, and the boat didn't sink. And finally, they reached Adaila, across the Yamuna, and they went to the home of Vallabha Bhatta. So after that point, Vallabha Bhatta always stayed very close to Lord Chaitanya, because he wanted to make sure, sudden mood change, he may somehow hurt himself. So first thing the Lord did, because the Lord had jumped into the ocean, he was coming for lunch, he jumped into the ocean, he was fully wet. The Lord's under, the kaupin and the bahir vastra had already become wet. So first thing that uh, Vallabha Bhatta did was, he offered him dry clothes. He said, "You go and take bath, and then you please accept this dry clothes." And Lord Chaitanya, then uh, did so. And then he was offered a very nice sitting place. And Vallabha Bhatta personally washed the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Vallabha Bhatta and his whole family, because his Grahastha with children, they all sprinkled water which has washed Lord Chaitanya's feet over their head. And actually, they did that first, sorry, and after that, the Lord was offered new dry garments. Then Vallabhacharya and his family worshipped the Lord with various upacharas. Beautiful. They have offered him flowers, garlands, incense, lamp, perfume. Huh? So when Vaishnava comes to our home, especially exalted Vaishnavas, huh, this is how traditionally huh, uh, one offers respect. Huh? So they come, we offer them a garland, we offer them obeisances. Huh? Of course, nowadays, it is not common unless it's the spiritual master to offer a lamp. Devotees may feel very embarrassed if they are done like that. But for senior Vaishnavas, at least we offer a garland, if possible, offer some chandan on their forehead, serve them nicely, serve prasad, sweet words, whatever way, and offer them some donation. That is Grihastha Dharma. So, very nicely, Lord Chaitanya was served with great care and attention by Vallabh Bhatta. And Rupa and Anupama were also, they tagged along, they were also invited to the home. So they were there. So they were also nearby. So Vallabh Bhatta, after Lord Chaitanya had his meal, he offered meal to Rupa and Anupam, and he also gave the remnants of Lord Chaitanya's food to Rupa and also to Krishnadas. Krishnadas is the other servant who had accompanied the Lord uh, from Vrindavan. So after that, the Lord was given after meal, some aftermint, fresh spices. So traditionally, there are certain spices like cardamom, cloves, and some others which are given to the person to chew, like a mouth freshener. And after giving him those spices, Vallabh Bhatta was personally massaging the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Such great fortune. Lord Chaitanya at the home, serving him, personally massaging him, worshipping him. So nice. So the Lord was very pleased, and then the Lord told Vallabh Bhatta, now, you have nicely served me. Please, you take prasad now. So after he took prasad, um, uh, Vallabh Bhatta again came to Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet, who was, sitting there. So it is said at that particular time, another devotee, his name was Raghupati Upadhyay. So that Raghupati Upadhyay, who was from one of the provinces of Bihar, he arrived at that place. He was also a very great scholar, a very great devotee, very, very respectable person. So he came to the home of Vallabh Bhatta because he had heard about Lord Chaitanya and his glory. So he also came there and he offered his obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's typical blessing, when somebody would ask for blessing, what was Lord Chaitanya's typical blessing? Anybody knows in this class? What was Lord Chaitanya's almost always blessing? Yes, Madhaji.
Prabhuji, Krishna Nam?
Tarun, Krishna Nam. Okay.
Yeah, because he distributed Krishna Prem to everyone. He little like that.
Yeah, yeah. But what was the blessing? There was a very specific phrase the Lord Chaitanya would say. Okay, so Lord Chaitanya would say when he would meet and somebody would ask for blessing, his blessing was Krishna Matirastu. May your mind be fixed on Krishna. Huh? Correct? Because what is the conditioned soul's main problem? Our main problem is we cannot fix our minds on Krishna. We fix for some time, even as sadhaka sometime, then we go here, then we go there. Huh? So we want to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. We are now sometimes Krishna conscious, sometimes Maya conscious. Fixed in Krishna Matirastu. So this is a wonderful blessing. So Lord Chaitanya gave that blessing. And Raghupati Upadhyaya was very impressed with the kind of blessing. Because usually people will say Ayushyaman Bhava, Saubhagyavati Bhava, and all that are generic blessing. Okay, I mean, not that they are wrong, but this blessing is the topmost blessing. And then the Lord asked Raghupati Upadhyaya, please describe about Krishna. The Lord would meet devotees about Krishna. So when Raghupati Upadhyaya was not only a good scholar, he would personally compose verses in Sanskrit in glorification of Krishna. So he started with the Lord's permission. Said, can I please present some compositions in glorification of Krishna that I've done? Lord said, yeah, please. And he started reciting. And one very beautiful verse he recited, which really put Lord Chaitanya into an ecstatic mood. What was that verse? The translation of the verse is something like this. He said that people who are afraid of material existence, they want liberation, they worship the Vedas. Some of them study the Smritis, some of them study the Shrutis, the Mahabharata, and so many things they do to liberate themselves. But as far as I am concerned, Raghupati Upadhyaya writes, for me, I simply, rather than approaching the Vedas and detail studying them, I simply worship Nanda Maharaj, Krishna's father. Why? Because it is in his courtyard, in his Angan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth is playing. What glorious position is of Nanda Maharaj, that in his courtyard the Supreme Truth is playing. So for me, the most worshipable, even higher than the Vedas, is Nanda Maharaj. And Lord Chaitanya was so happy to hear and see that kind of a devotional sentiment which Raghupati Upadhyaya displayed. And Lord said, go on, tell me more. And he offered his respects and said, started quoting more verses in glorification of Krishna. And he says a very beautiful thing. To whom can I speak? Who will believe me when I say Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? That when I say that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is chasing the gopis in the bushes on the bank of the Yamuna. This is how the Lord performs this pastime. So he's saying it's so difficult for ordinary people to understand and appreciate these deep, intimate, glorious pastimes of Lord Krishna. Lord Chaitanya said, okay, tell me more, tell me more. And the Lord was, becoming more and more absorbed. And Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, his body and his mind slackened as he was overwhelmed with ecstatic symptoms. And Raghupati Upadhyaya, when he saw the kind of transformation and the mood which Lord Chaitanya was displaying, he understood that, oh, this person is not an ordinary human being. No ordinary human being can have this kind of ecstatic emotions. He must be Krishna himself. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Raghupati Upadhyaya, said, according to you, who is the foremost being? According to you, of all of Krishna's abodes, which one do you think is the best? Of all the three ages of Krishna, childhood, boyhood, and fresh youth, Balya, Kaumar, and Yavan, or Kaishor, which is the best? And among all the mellows of devotional service, which one is the best? So Lord asked him 4 questions. Best person, then the best abode, the best age of Krishna, and the best mellow. And Lord Chaitanya himself immediately gave his own understanding. He says, Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesh Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasana Brajavadhum Vargena Vakalpita. He doesn't say this verse, but this verse is written by Prabhupada Saraswati, but in the same spirit. Who is the Supreme Person? Shyamam Eva Param Rupam. Which is the Supreme Being? Shyamam. Shyam Sundar. Puri. Madhupuri Vara. What is the best abode? Vrindavan Mathura is the best abode. Vayaha Kaishorakam Dheyam. What age of Krishna is worth of always meditating on? Kaishora. Why? Because in this age, beautiful pastimes of Krishna and Radha and the gopis are performed. And Adya Eva Parorasa. Adi Rasa, the rasa of conjugal love between Krishna and Radharani, Krishna and the gopis, is Parorasa. There is no mellow more enjoyable in a transcendental sense. Okay? Four things. The form of Sham Sundar is the supreme form. The city of Mathura Vrindavan is the supreme abode. Krishna's fresh youth form should always be meditated upon, and the mellow of conjugal love is the supreme mellow. So Lord Chaitanya asked the question, because you said this devotional conclusion is very important to establish. And these conclusions are very important for us to understand, because that is what is the core of the Gaudiya Vaishnava understanding. What we are aspiring for. We are not aspiring for liberation. We are not aspiring for heaven. We are not aspiring for simply removal of miseries. We are aspiring for the highest of the highest, which is this conclusion. And we want to serve this form of Krishna in this abode, in this rasa. That's why the Acharya say, Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesha Tanaya Tadhamam Vrindavanam Ramya Kajit Upasana Brajavadum Vargena Va Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Marto Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matavidam. This is the opinion of Lord Chaitanya. Tatra Daru Napara. There is nothing higher than that. And Lord Chaitanya answered. He asked the question. He answered, and Raghupati Upadhyay was so happy. Then Lord Chaitanya himself embraced Raghupati Upadhyay in ecstatic level. Raghupati Upadhyay went into ecstasy. He started jumping and dancing. Vallabh Bhatta is watching all this. This is happening at his house in Adaila. Raghupati Upadhyay is jumping and dancing suddenly. He was struck with wonder. Then Vallabh Bhatta brought his two sons. So in the Pushti Marg, in the Vallabhacharya Sampradaya, the line is going down in the, as the children of Vallabhacharya and their children and so on. So they fell down at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. And then we'll just conclude in a minute. And then it is said, as Lord Chaitanya was there, the news of Lord Chaitanya's presence spread all over Adaila. All the villages of Adaila came running to see Lord Chaitanya. This great personality has come, and they all became devotees of Krishna simply by seeing Krishna. All the Brahmanas of Adaila came and told Vallabh Bhatta, we want to invite Lord Chaitanya to our home. We please talk to him and make him accept. Vallabh Bhatta said, no. He was very afraid to continue to keep Lord Chaitanya at Adaila, even though he was very happy at a personal level, because Adaila was on the bank of the Yamuna. He was very afraid if the Lord continues to stay here, suddenly he'll run into Yamuna and jump again. So he said, let us go back to where we came from, at the house that he was staying at, near the Triveni Sangam. So Vallabh Bhatta decided that, he told all the Brahmins, sorry, the Lord will not accept any invitation in Adaila. If you want to serve him, I'm taking him back to Prayag, near the Triveni. He's going to stay there. You can go there and serve him and extend invitations to him. And then Vallabh Bhatta decided to take the Lord back to the Prayag Triveni residence. He arranged a boat, but this time he didn't take it over Yamuna. He took the boat in a different direction by taking a different path so that the boat would cross Ganges. So in this way, the Lord went back to the Prayag residence. So we're going to stop here. We have discussed up to verses 113. And we will continue our discussion of the Chaitanya Lila in the next class. Thank you all for very patiently listening. Any questions or comments? Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining, and hope you are enjoying listening to these pastimes as much as I am, or more than I am enjoying narrating them, because they are indeed so sweet. In this way, we understand what not only the Siddhanta, but the Vaishnava behavior, the Vaishnava Achar, what is of importance, what is the emphasis, especially for our line of Gaudiya Vaishnava. Because there are so many prayojans in spirituality. Prayojans means goals. Some are only wanting, I want to lead a dharmic life and go to heaven. Some want to be great philosophers. Some want to merge into Brahman. Some want to meditate on Paramatma and feel oneness. Correct? Many spiritualists say, I want to feel oneness, to feel one with the universe. That is my goal. So that kind of jnana merging into Brahman, feeling of oneness. We want oneness, but our oneness is not of the kind of losing individuality. Our oneness is the connection of heart in loving devotion to the Supreme Lord. What we are chasing for is the highest provision. That's what Lord Chaitanya said. What is the highest provision, the highest goal? There are many attainments within spirituality. There are many siddhis within spirituality. But the highest perfection is loving devotional service to Shyam Sundar in the mood, following in the footsteps of the gopis of Vraja. So our specific line of Gaudiya Vaishnava, that is our aspiration. And we want to be so focused on this highest goal, we don't even want to be distracted. What to speak of heaven? Heaven is a disturbance. We're wasting time enjoying material things. Our beginning step is to overcome desire for material enjoyment. What to speak of getting, oh, I want to go here. I want to go to Indra Sabha and see, Rambha, Urvashi dancing. If a devotee has this kind of a desire, very easily he can attain at the end of this life. If he has sincerely practiced devotion. But it will actually be a waste of time. Better you quickly continue your devotional service and go back home, back to God. Because the truth is that nothing other than pure devotional service can actually really satisfy the heart and soul. So that is why these teachings are important. And very soon in the next class, when we continue this discussion, the actual conversation of the discussion in detail between Rupa Goswami, because now is the main topic of this chapter. Lord Chaitanya sitting at the Dashashwamedha Ghat at Prayag and teaching Rupa Goswami the devotional conclusions in detail, and not just as a informal conversation. The Lord wants Rupa Goswami to compile literatures on the science of devotional service based on what he is going to teach him. So this is what I'm teaching you. You write a book. I'm explaining, you write. And Lord Chaitanya didn't write. He would tell the Goswamis, teach them and say, you write. Sanatan, write this. So Rupa, you write this. And then later Jiva Goswami wrote various literatures also. Gopal Bhatta wrote. So all the Goswamis contributed to build the devotional literature to support and expound the specific teaching that Lord Chaitanya had come to give. Because teachings of Dharma have been around since time immemorial. Dharma, um, Kama, Dharma, Moksha, all these has been around for the four Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Been around and have been expounded since time immemorial. Of course, different munis explain it in different ways. But Lord Chaitanya has come to give the Panchama Purushartha, fifth attainment, which is higher than Dharma, Artha, Kama, higher than Moksha, is Prema. And within the realm of Prema, still higher, is the highest Rasa. So as Gaudiya Vaishnava, we don't want to lose focus of that. For us to get heaven, or even for sincere devotees to even get liberation, is according to Acharya, is not such a big deal. It's a big deal for yogis and jnanis. Krishna says, if somebody wants heaven, he's my sincere devotee. If he wants, I can give very easily. But bhakti is rare. So that is why these conversations, these literatures are very important, and the Goswamis were instruments in the hands of Lord Chaitanya to establish these devotional literatures to guide us both in the Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan of devotional service. What is the ultimate goal? Like what Chaitanya said, Mahaprabhu says. What is the process? And what is my relationship? Relationship, process, goal. Sambandha, Abhideya. So thanks to Lord Chaitanya for his teaching. And thanks to the Goswamis for noting it down that we have all these wonderful literatures that will allow us to understand, practice, and ultimately attain this. That is only possible when all of us come together in association to selflessly hear, chant, and glorify the Supreme Lord and serve the Lord and serve each other. Thank you very much. Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samarita Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu Hari.
Thank you, Sudhir Sundar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Suraj, Shalini,
Okay.
Amit, Archana ji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
There you go. Yeah, Indulekha Mataji, Anand Sundari Mataji also. Sridevi ji, thank you very much. Sneha ji. I'll see
Hare
you all.
Krishna,
My
Prabhuji.
intention, yeah, thank you, Archana ji. My intention is to do on Saturday. I will keep you informed. Basis my schedule if there is any